Batman, Arkham Asylum, The Great Mystery. Arkham Island, Gotham City, New Jersey, early March 2019. The Batman managed to defeat Bane and save the Commissioner. In the process, he had to sacrifice the Batmobile, but it was no biggie. Batman could always fish out the Batmobile and repair it. And the most important thing has been accomplished, finding and getting the Commissioner off the island. Now Batman had to investigate what Dr. Young was up to. He contacts Oracle on his communicator.
Oracle, come in. Listen to me. I'm going to need some help. I need you to find out everything you can on Dr. Young. And whatever you find, I'll retrieve it in the satellite Batcave.
Oracle says in shock, "You have a Batcave down here?" Batman replies back,
Of course I do. I had it built a few years ago just in case of a situation like this. It is inside an old sub-basement that has long been forgotten. I made sure it was off record and completely forgotten. I moved in some equipment, a computer, and some first aid to help me. One of the entrances is out on Dead Man's Point at Arkham North. I'll contact you when I get down there.
So Batman heads to Arkham North. He eventually makes it to Dead Man's Point and jumps off the cliff. He glides to safety and lands on an old platform that was left over from decades ago. He lands safely and goes into a man-made tunnel that was carved out of the rock. He gets to a dead end, a door. Soon a laser scans him and gives him access to the satellite Batcave.
Identity confirmed. Disabling countermeasures. Security deactivated.
Batman makes his way into the satellite Batcave, which was just an old forgotten sub-basement. In there was an old writing desk with 2 computer monitors and a workstation computer and some other electronic equipment. On a small table, there was a LaserJet printer with a scanner built into it, several boxes of supplies, of gadgets, other things, and another table full of old CRT monitors that still worked, showing the security camera's view from around the asylum. Batman sits at the desk and starts working on the computer, and then Oracle says, "Batman, Dr. Young was heading up a project. It was big. Lots of external funding. Here was the last news she filed. I can't make sense of it. What does it mean?" Then Batman says,
Looks like she was experimenting on the Arkham patients. This new chemical barely resembles the original Venom compound. There are a number of changes that appear to amplify the strength of the drug. There are multiple references to a Titan formula. Even a small amount can trigger a Venom-like transformation in its host, eliminating the need for a storage tank and delivery system that Bane requires. That'll explain why Bane was unusually strong this time.
Then Batman continues as he finds something on the computer.
Hang on, these notes are incomplete. The formula's missing. That must be the secret that Dr. Young is hiding. If Joker gets his hands on that formula, he could create an army of 1,000 Banes. Good God.
Then Oracle says, "My God, is Joker crazy enough to do that?" Then she corrects herself. "What am I saying? He is. You gotta stop him, Batman." Then Batman gets up and heads over to one of the crates. He opens it up, and inside was one of his older model zip launchers. He puts that on his utility belt to the side, and then he goes over to the first aid box. He opens it up, and he takes a cocktail of pills. He was still in pain, especially from that Bane encounter. He takes a combination of Benzendrine and some powerful non-drowsy pain relievers so he could continue on the fight. And then Oracle chimes in and says, "Batman, the drone has picked up Dr. Young headed to Arkham Mansion with Aaron Cash and several other of the guards." And then Batman says,
Excellent, Oracle. I'll be there in a few minutes.
As Batman was making his way to Arkham Mansion, Oracle chimes in and she says, Batman, listen, I've been digging deeper into Dr. Young. According to her bank records, she has received multiple payments starting last April and ending 2 months ago. Then nothing. Apparently the payments came from a company owned by Mr. Jack White. Then Batman says,
one of Joker's oldest aliases. So, the Joker pays Dr. Young to create his armies, and then he stopped. It doesn't make any sense.
As Batman was getting closer to Arkham Mansion, Oracle chimes in again with more information on Dr. Young's payments, and she says, Batman, listen, this is weird. The payments to Dr. Young's accounts didn't stop, they were declined, Oracle says, and then she continues. Dr. Young had a block put on her account. And then Batman says,
sounds like she had a change of heart and put the block on the payments. Joker doesn't like it when his partners try to back out.
Then Oracle says, so the Joker decides to get himself back into Arkham, find his formula, and create the army himself. Batman replies to Oracle,
exactly.
Then finally, when Batman was getting closer and closer to Arkham Mansion, Oracle chimes in and she says, Batman, I managed to hack into her email account and 2 emails stand out. Then she continues to explain, the first email was a resignation letter telling her that she wanted out and to quit paying her. And Batman asked her what the second was, and she says the second was a threatening email from Mr. White, or should I say the Joker, and just pictures of a dead baby, some crude drawing of someone hanging from a tree, and a picture of her family all drawn with the Joker faces. And then it says too in the email that, I get what I pay for, you're going to pay, you sorry, and a few expletives, she says. Finally, Batman arrived at the mansion. It was guarded. There were goons outside and goons on top with rifles. Batman knew he needed to take them down quickly. And the first priority were the ones on top with the rifles. Batman sneaks around and grapples up to the upper levels of the balcony, where one of the goons had the rifle pointed at the yard for anything that moved. Batman shimmies over, and then as soon as he got directly underneath the rifle-toting bad guy, Batman reaches out, grabs him, and flings him over the balcony. The man falls to his death. The thugs below were alerted to Batman's presence. Batman quickly glides down and begins taking them all on, and he takes them out. Then Batman goes into the mansion. As he goes into the mansion, the electron beam force field was up. He couldn't get through. Batman knew he needed to find another way. There were a bunch of goons on the other side taunting him. Like, yeah, Batman, you can't get in here. Ha 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 ha. Another one began mooning Batman. Batman just stayed quiet and left back outside. He grapples up again to the balcony. He opens the exhaust system and goes in through the air vent. As he goes in, he was now inside the mansion. Detective mode revealed there were 6 guys on the ground. Batman glided down, surprised them, and took them all out. His first priority was now to find Dr. Young. And he hears Joker overhead saying that Dr. Young hid the formula somewhere in the mansion. Then Oracle chimes in and she says, Batman, I was watching the security feed in the mansion. It seems Dr. Young has taken the formula out of her safe. It looked like she went to hide it in the library. And that's all I could see right now. I'm still trying to search for her, said Oracle. Batman acknowledges and runs towards the library. As soon as he enters the library, he heard 2 people screaming for help. He sees through a doorway a doctor and a guard tied to a chair together. In a giant box, gift wrapped in purple and green. Batman went to untie them, and suddenly the electron force field activates. And then Joker chimes in overhead and taunts Batman, saying,
Did you think I was going to make it that easy for you, Batsy? You're wrong. Here's your challenge, Batman. You have to rescue these 2 before they get a nice whiff of Smilex. I want to see how you're going to do this. So the clock is ticking at 2 minutes, Betsy.
Batman begins to frantically search the room for a way to get to those guys. He sees through the door that had the force field a giant glass ceiling where they were at. Then he knew where to go. He climbs up, and he climbs and climbs up the library until he sees the giant chandelier. He climbs to the level where the chandelier was hanging, and with his batarang, he cuts it and sends the chandelier crashing down to the lower level, opening a path to the tied men. After doing that, the Joker chimes in, taunting Batman, saying that those men had 60 seconds before they start laughing uncontrollably. Batman dives down and then glides and lands safely. Then he runs over to the two tied men, and first he decides to defuse the bomb, and as he opened the box, he was in for a nasty surprise. It was a trick. A giant boxing glove comes flying out. Batman quickly gets out of the way, and some confetti shoots out, and the Joker just taunts him, saying it was a trick as he laughed maniacally. Afterwards, Batman unties the doctor and the guard. Then he asks the doctor on the whereabouts of where Dr. Young hid important paperwork she took out of her safe. The doctor pointed to the book, which was just across from where they were standing at. A red leather-bound book titled History of Mental Illness. Batman grabs the book, pulls out a sheet of paper which contained the missing formula, and with the gel explosive he sprayed a little bit and ignited it, destroying the formula. And then he says to Oracle,
Oracle, I found the formula, and I destroyed it, but it was too easy. It's never too easy with the Joker. I have a bad feeling.
Then the Joker comes on overhead again, and he says to Batman,
Oh, gee, Batsy, you beat me again. How am I ever gonna get my hands on that secret formula? Wait a minute. Wait, I know how I'm gonna get my hands on that formula. I'll get it out of Dr. Young herself. And I just saw Mr. Zsasz leaving the garden area, headed for the mansion, and he looked royally pissed, Batman. If anything, he could squeeze the information out of her like a little rag doll.
After the Joker's threat, then Oracle chimes in. She says, Batman, the security cameras picked up Zsasz. He's entered the mansion. He's taken Dr. Young hostage. I see that Aaron Cash's men are trying their best to save her, but they're being pinned down by the Joker's men, all armed with guns. Then Batman says to Oracle,
Don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Batman eventually makes it to the area of the Warden's office where Aaron Cash and his men were being pinned down by the Joker's men, who all had rifles. They didn't know Batman was behind them. And then Batman throws a tear gas pellet which blows up and engulfs them all. And Batman uses detective mode and takes them all down. Then he throws an object through the huge window which breaks, causing all the tear gas to be sucked out outside. Then Aaron Cash and his men get up and he says, Thank God, Batman. That maniac's ass took Dr. Young into the Warden's office. Batman tells Aaron Cash to stay put, that he was going to save Dr. Young. Well, Batman goes into the Warden's office, and sure enough, Zsasz was there, and he had Young at knife point, and he threatened Batman, Come any closer, Batman, and I'm going to slit her throat. I like to hear women squeal. Batman had to think this through carefully. Any slight move, and Zsasz will cut her throat. Batman looked over the area carefully, and he studied Zsasz. He pulls out his batarang, and he had to time this perfectly. If he didn't, Young was dead. Batman quickly throws the Batarang, and it zips past Zaz's head, and then it boomerangs back and hits Zaz behind the head before he could react and do anything. Zaz was momentarily stunned, and he lets go of Dr. Young. Dr. Young quickly flees, and Batman goes right in and beats up Zaz so badly that he ends up breaking Zaz's arm that held the knife, and he also broke Zaz's knees. Then Dr. Young says, "Oh, thank God, Batman, you saved me. You saved me from this monster." Then Batman says to Dr. Young,
I found your formula, and I destroyed it. Now Joker can't get his hands on it.
and Dr. Young says, "Good. But unfortunately, there's still the manufacturing plant hidden in the Botanical Gardens," she says to Batman as she runs over to a plaque in the Warden's office. There in the plaque, well, behind the plaque, was a safe, and she says to Batman, "In here, in his hidden safe, the Warden has the master control code for the entire island. That's the only way you're going to get into the manufacturing plant." As Dr. Young said that, she opens the plaque, and suddenly, it happened too quickly. It was a trap, and Batman can do nothing. The explosion knocked Batman unconscious very briefly, but unfortunately for Dr. Young, it tore her apart, killing her. As Batman regains consciousness, he sees Harley Quinn walking above him, saying, "Ha ha ha, well, Batsy, it seems like you fell for the oldest trick in the book, the old exploding safe. Mr. J's a genius." She also had the Warden there in the office with him. And then the Warden says, "You psychotic woman, I'm gonna make sure you never leave here when this is over." And then Harley Quinn says, "Shut up, old man." And then she violently beats Warden Sharp with his cane, breaking the top half of it. Afterwards, she says to Batman, "Ha! This old loony thinks he runs this place. He's so wrong." Then she tells all the goons surrounding Batman and says to them, "Now, guys, just beat up Batman, but don't kill him. Mr. J says he's the guest of honor of tonight's party, so just soften him up for a little bit." Then she signals the two guys that had the Warden to follow her as she left the room, and the two men were dragging the Warden, who was screaming. After they left, Batman quickly jumps on his feet and begins to take down the goons that surrounded him. After beating them up, Batman contacts Oracle and says to her,
Oracle, Dr. Young is dead, unfortunately, but she did tell me about a production facility hidden in the Botanical Gardens. She was going to give me the master code, but unfortunately it blew up with her. I need help.
Then Oracle says, "The Wayne Tech security protocols seem to be hack-proof. Lucius did a good job. It's a two-part biometric sequence apparently generated by the Warden using a code sequencer." Then Batman says to Oracle,
Then I'm going to have to head after Harley Quinn and get the Warden. Do you know where they're heading to?
Oracle says, "Yes, I do. The drone picked them up heading to West Arkham, towards the cell blocks." Then Batman says,
Well, looks like the cell blocks are the next stop. Like and subscribe. The end.